Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast alongside SternBets and DrewDelucchi. I am the Prince of Picks, and we are super excited to get into today's massive slate of games taking place across the sports world. Of course, we've got a lot of action going on the pitch. The Champions League is in action. The champions, we are back, baby. Second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals here. So we got some interesting matchups, of course, with PSG taking on Liverpool and Atletico Madrid in the derby taking on Barcelona. So, of course, we'll have some plays for that. We've also got the NBA play-in tournament starting tonight, where the 7th seed Phoenix Suns are going to be taking on the 8th seed Portland Trailblazers. Then we also have the 9th seed Charlotte Hornets taking on the 10th seed. Drawing a blank. Miami Heat, of course. Yes, the Miami Heat, of course, who are the play-in regular season, how do I say, year by year, the play-in, consistently in the play-in tournament are the Miami Heat. So we'll have some plays for that as well. And then looking over at the major leagues, we've got a massive slate in the majors, 15-game slate today in the major leagues. Of course, all those games are taking place tonight, so I'm sure the boys will have some good looks and great angles here for that. I've got to play as well, so we'll be sure to be covering that. And then, of course, on the ice in the NHL, a 9-game slate, so another big slate in professional hockey tonight. We'll be looking for some plays there as well. Yeah, a lot of sports taking place today, guys. We're eager to get into it. Before we do get into it, if you guys can do us a real quick favor, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you're listening to us. Just give us a real quick rate, review, subscribe. Really helps us out in terms of growing this channel and getting this out to more listeners. With that being said, let me go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Stern, Mr. Mosh. Good morning. It's been a while. How are you, my brother?
Yeah, I missed you. I haven't seen you in quite some time. I'm excited to get into it. It is a bounce back day for me. I went 0-3 yesterday, which is just atrocious. Yeah, thanks, Paul Skeens, for getting it together only in the second inning on. But what can you do? I mean, it's just one pitch goes awry and then it's all over. Very excited to get into it. I don't think we're going to see as much action as we did yesterday. I mean, when you're talking about a day of days, we saw home runs everywhere. We saw runs. We talked about it yesterday with the crazy weather incoming. This is going to be a really fun summer, and I think yesterday really kind of kicked it off. I really want to bring in Drew and hear his reaction. But the game that I was really focused on was the Yankees-Angels game, which went back and forth. I think we had 4 or 5 people have multi-home runs in that game. It was just unbelievable. And in the way that the Angels lost it. Yes, the Angels lost it with Trent Grisham hitting that home run in the bottom of the 9th. That was just epic cinema. Very happy that the Yankees aren't going in there, I guess, early season lull that they are typically kind of do during this time. So, yeah, I'm excited to get into it. But, Drew, how you doing, brother? What was your reaction to yesterday? Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, it was home run galore. I was crying to. I remember I was mentioning this. I think beforehand. I saw some people on Twitter. Saying like, "Oh, home runs are down." They're down not just because of the weather, but because of just like they believed it was like the baseballs in that regards. But I did a lot of research figuring out what was going on. This was about just like a few days ago, and I did calculations, on just AI alone, and they said there was only up to, I think it was like up to April 8th, there was 100 home runs indoors last year, 95 indoors this year. There was about 70 less home runs outdoors, and I was like, well, based off this, it's the weather, and that seems to be true. We knew home runs were going to hit. Weather is a big factor. I don't think personally they juice baseballs. They haven't juiced baseballs in a long time. I feel like it's definitely the weather. And you even mentioned this, Stern, when people are trying to point out it's the baseballs. There was 16, remember we talked about 16 miles per hour. Remember what I was saying yesterday when you said 6 miles to the left? I said, hey guys, that favors righties. Where did most of the home runs go in that game? To left field. And who were they? Righties for a lot of them besides Trent Grisham. So, and then we also saw the biggest standout is besides Trent Grisham having 2 pinch hit home runs, which is absolutely insane. We saw 2 of the greatest to ever do it have 2 home runs and answer each other. Basically, how it happened is Judge hit a home run. Trout was like, hold my beer. I'm going to hit a 3-run homer. And then Judge hit a home run. The next inning, you see Trout smile in the center field. And then Trout later on hits another home run. Just seeing two of the all-time greats to ever do it when one of the best regular season games I watch is just pure cinema. So I have to appreciate because, of course, Trout's a little older and he's also played longer than Judge. He has more wear and tear. So we need to appreciate both of these two as long as we have them, I will say.
I think having them go off 2 home runs each in that game is going to be cemented in the history books. There's no way
Yeah.
that is not going to be mentioned by people in 50 years. The people who were at that game are going to look back just like and I think the announcers kind of mentioned it on the broadcast. They're like, "Oh, you remember the good old days where we saw Mantle and Gehrig and Berra and all these people? This is the game in our modern century where we kind of have that similar type feel where
And
I'm
they're
not
important
saying
ones too. They're important home runs. It wasn't like garbage home runs. These were home runs that were tying the game and taking the lead. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Any other kind of standout moments to
Yeah.
you? I know that we had a few out props that you did. How did you do on your bets, by the way, yesterday?
Yeah, I did too. Luckily, the one where I combined with Eovaldi and Orlowski, I was way off. Eovaldi nominated and Orlowski nominated. So luckily, I combined them and bet them each individually. But Will Warren, one hit. That was pretty easy. Will Warren, I will say it wasn't his fault, but I will take it. He technically gave up, I think it was like 4 runs. It'd be 4 runs, but none of them were earned because Caballeros had an error that should have eventually ended the inning. If anybody doesn't, to the listeners, guys, like say for example, right, you get a fielder gets an error with like 1 out or 2 outs, right? For this case, it was an error with 1 out that would eventually been an out, and then there was only 1 out still, and Warren got another out. So to the basically to the score makers, they're saying, okay, this inning should be over if it wasn't for that error. But then Warren proceeded to get 4 runs, so therefore those 4 runs were not earned on his part, and they're not going to be put on him because the inning should have ended. But that kicked him out of the game. His pitch count was too high. He panicked and stuff like that, so his under hit.
Yeah, he's a young pitcher. He'll learn how to get through it. I am excited to see when Carlos Rodon gets back because that's going to add a little bit of depth into their rotation and maybe allow these younger pitchers to not feel as much pressure to go as long as they have. But I really wanted to get to maybe Garrett Crochet. What in the world happened yesterday?
Oh, so I I'll say something about Garrett Crochet. Yes, he got absolutely tagged for 11 runs, but I'm gonna officially call the Twins the ace killers. I know Framber Valdez got tagged for like 7 or 8 runs. He lasted a little longer because it was early. Screwball didn't get tagged for 11 runs, but he got hit, I think, for like 5 runs. It seems like the Twins, anytime they face the aces, they dominate, and it's really weird. So that was very interesting to see.
That is an interesting thing because I was looking at Framber Valdez sneak preview, I guess, to my pick later on in the show. And yeah, I did see that he also got touched up by the Twins, and yeah, Scooble also. And I think me and everybody else just wrote off the Twins team. Probably closer to the end of last season when they had that fire sale and they just got rid of all of their talent or most of their talent. But they seem to have rebuilt all right, I guess. I don't think it's sustainable, but it is definitely something to note that we shouldn't be writing them off quite just
Yeah,
yet.
they started off like this last year, and then even before they did the fire sale, because they were like the Brewers beginning of the year, or the Brewers were the end of the year, and then they kind of tailed off, and then they sold everything. So we'll see if the Twins can sustain this, but their metrics offensively are much better. Where the Twins were doing great in the beginning of the year last year was their pitching, and they also had Juwan Duran, but their hitting is really good. So we'll see if they can sustain this, but it's been very impressive so far, to say the least. Lastly, I will say, before I forget, I'm going to shout out one guy. Of course, we saw a lot of home runs. We saw Josh Naylor hit like 2 home runs. But I'm going to shout out this one guy. He's very young. People forget. I think he's only like 22 years old. He turns 23 in May, I believe. He looks like he's 30, but he's not. Like not in a bad way because he looks like a grown ass man. Jordan Walker. I think he hit his like 8th home run this year. Like they brought Gavin Williams back into the game in the 6th. And shout out to Gavin Williams. He had like 36 pitches in the first inning, and then he cruised. And they brought him in for just like, oh, we want you to face Jordan Walker. hit a bomb and they took Gavin Williams out. Like I seen a shout out Jordan Walker. He leads the league in home runs and he's been absolutely dominating.
Dominating is a word for it. That man is unbelievable right now, and I don't know if there's a hotter batter, including Judge and a few other big name stars than Jordan Walker. What he's been able to do this year is unbelievable, and it kind of has like a Cal Raleigh type of feel from last year, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's no other really hotter batters with power and contact because he's hitting over 300. So it's not like he's just hitting bombs left and right, like just the only bombs. The only other hotter hitter I can probably think of, he's not hitting as much bombs, but Andy Paul has been being absolutely insane for the Dodgers, which is scary for the league, I will say. But yeah, Jordan Walker, he's been the hottest in my opinion, bad in general. I think his slugging percentage is like 800 or something right now. It's just absurd.
Yeah, and also another little sneak preview for later in the show. I'm going to talk about the third hottest hitter, or I guess I should say the top three hottest hitters. We talked about two out of the three. O'Neal Cruz. He is someone that I'm going to come back to, but that man, I mean, he's just enjoying baseball. Let's just put it that way. He has a smile on his face when he goes out to bat. He has a smile on the face when he knocks that ball over 100 miles per hour out of the out of the infield. That man is just a beast right now. Very excited to see what he's able to do. I know that I knocked him earlier for his defense, and I'm not going to take that back, but that man's offense is on an absolute another level right now. All right, let's get into it, though. Got plenty of games to get to. Drew, I'm going to pass it to you. If you're ready, no pressure, but do you have any games that you're looking at probably for an out prop if I had to make a educated guess?
Yeah, definitely. I also have stuff I'm looking out in general for a debut for a pitcher that I'm looking forward to. But we'll start with an out prop. It's the first game of the day. I know I mentioned I was able to combine Trevor Rogers over 17.5 with Mikolas under 15.5. If you guys can't get that, I would recommend there's straight boost everywhere. Just do Rogers over 17.5 at minus 170 and use a straight boost. Sometimes you're going to get minus 160, minus 170s of baseball, but I know DK offers them, Fanatics offers them, FanDuel offers straight boost sometimes. So Trevor Rogers, as we all know, he's one of the best, I think, pitchers in the league. He's a walking six innings. He is facing a Diamondbacks team who has been hot offensively. But Trevor Rogers, about him, he produces a lot of weak contact. Gatel Marte has been extremely hot. I think he just hit 2 home runs yesterday, and then he had a home run the time before. But I trust Trevor Rogers to go deep in the game. And I think also after Dean Kramer got rocked, I think they're gonna expect Trevor Rogers to go off. And another thing about Trevor Rogers, he's supposed to start yesterday, but he didn't. They wanted to include Dean Kramer because I think they wanted to do a 6-man rotation to keep their pitchers fresh. And he has an extra day of rest, so I don't think they mind having him go 6 innings. Because if you look at Dean Kramer yesterday, Dean Kramer, he right here, he lasted exactly 5 innings and he had like 9 Ks. He only gave up 2 earned runs, 4 runs in total. They took him out after the fifth when he only had 80 pitches. But I expect them to let Trevor Rogers go 6 full innings here. And the thing about the Diamondbacks, yes, they are a very hot hitting team, but they don't. They are not an entirely patient team. There's only certain people that have walk potential in there, like Ketel Marte does, but Ketel Marte has been pretty free swinging. Corbin Carroll's very high swing rate, and you look at other ones like Alec Thomas, he likes to swing. So you just look at overall this lineup because Dean Kramer had 9 Ks alone. So you can see the free swing in here. So they're either going to hit. The only way Trevor Rogers get out of this game won't probably be a high pitch count. It'll probably be him getting hit out of this game. So that's me for that one.
I like the look. I do. Trevor Rogers is someone that they need to rely on for volume so that they don't have to rely on their. I guess I should just. I mean, they're not a great bullpen. If I'm taking a look at
They're not what they
the
used to
opponent,
be, sadly, because they used to be a fear bullpen.
yeah. I'm here. Let me see where they are. Oh, actually, they're not doing too bad. They're ranked 8th right now in runs allowed in the seventh inning and on. But I don't think that's necessarily sustainable, and they have been using it a lot more than they've had to in recent weeks, or recent days. So I do like the look of having their ace kind of go at least 6 full innings. I do like that look a lot.
And Rogers has covered this almost every start since he came back from injury too as well. His last start, he didn't look like he was going to get it, but they stretched him to 100 pitches to do it. And like I said, he has an extra day of rest too. He has one of those mechanics too where it's not too hard on his arm either. For when he pitches, that's something I like to look at. Like, for example, the Skeens has really good mechanics, but he throws heat. Trevor Rogers doesn't really throw heat. He has one of those fluid sidearm mechanics that he likes to throw. It's very hard to see the ball out of his hand. So that'll be interesting. But for the Mikolas one, if you are able to get it at under 50.5 to pair with him later on, you notice he gains steam. As we all know how I feel about Mikolas, this is where I also personally would like the Pirates. I wouldn't even mind a Pirates -1.5 here. Mikolas is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst pitchers in the league right now. No offense to him, because he was good earlier in his career. He had like a 120 pitch, almost no hitter one time, but he's not good anymore. He looks like he's pitching like a positional player. They took him out of his last start, and like after the third inning for some odd reason. They said it was possibly injury. It wasn't. He looked fine walking off. But we've seen this guy. He's given up 11 runs to the Dodgers. He gave up, I think it was like 6 runs against the Cubs. He only gave up 2 runs in his last start, but he had like nearly 60 pitches through 3 innings. I think with the Pirates' hot offense, I know they scored 50 runs yesterday, so regression could happen. But this guy is not good. He doesn't have a high whiff rate. He throws very lightly. He's walking more people than usually does. Usually he's in the strike zone. So I always like fading him anytime I see like 15.5 with him. Like, he's not going to last past 5 innings. I think the Nationals are even sick of him. The only thing he's good for is a veteran presence in the locker room. And the Nationals have a big starting pitching problem. The only good starting pitcher, in my personal opinion, as we've seen, is Zach Littell. Kate Cavalli, sorry. Sorry you had to deal with that. I know your bullpen outshined you, but you did not do well really either. So, yeah, I like that.
I love picking on Miles Mikolas, and I used to have 2 years ago. I had Miles Mikolas Day, and just like I had Paul Skeens Day, I had Miles Mikolas Day, and the reason for that is because he gives up so many hits, so many hits. Now he is incredible at working himself out of trouble, but when you have to constantly work yourself out of trouble, you're inevitably going to give up runs. I do have an official play half unit on the Pirates team total over 3.5 parlayed with their money line for -125 over an MGM. I thought that was value.
like
I
that.
wouldn't pay more than -130. I would go to a quarter unit at -1 or -1.5 on the spread for plus money if you're looking to if you don't have that line available to you. But yeah, you're looking at Mikolas's barrel rate, 14.3%, solidly below average. 47% hard hit rate, solidly below average. Whiff rate, under 20%, solidly below average. K rate, under 16.5%, solidly below average. All of his expected stats, all of his expected metrics, they're all solidly below average. He has a 10.5% walk rate. There's nothing in his repertoire right now that screams to me that he's going to have a resurgence. I'm only putting a half unit on this, mostly because I don't really trust Mitch Keller so much, although his stats and metrics are a lot better than Mikolas's.
He's been impressed me lately.
Yeah, he's been able to induce weak contact, which has really helped him this year. Despite the fact that he doesn't really have a whiff or strikeout rate right now.
Because last year he was getting hard contact, and he obviously changed something with his pitches to make it so it's weaker contact or location. Yeah.
I think from what I'm seeing, he's introducing a sinker a lot more,
Smart.
and then his off-speed pitches, he's mixing in a lot more effectively, which is getting him that weak contact that he's able to get those quick outs for. But yeah, for Mikolas, I don't really see him having a chance here. If you wanted to go with the pure over, I wouldn't mind that over 8.5. But I'm just gonna go with with the Pirates team total over 3.5 parlay with their money line. I mean, this Pirates team, we saw this, I think the last year or two. I'm not really sure how many years in a row, but I do remember the Pirates going on an insane run to start the year. And then about a month and a half in, they just died. And they were terrible the rest of the year. But I'm going to look to jump on the Pirates train a little bit today. Yeah, I love picking on Mikolas today. And honestly, it's not like other pitchers where I think that he's going to have a positive regression at some point. There's nothing in his metrics that really tell me that he's going to pitch really well. And to be fair, he's a veteran. He can pull it together at any point. He is that type of pitcher where he has surprised me despite his metrics, but it's not looking good for me, Captain.
Yeah, I'm going to tail that pick because I was going to do Pirates -1.5, but I like yours better with the team total runs because I think they get the team total runs probably within the first 5 innings unless they take Mikolas out like they did last time. Like, we're tired of your crap. But yeah.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind, the Washington Nationals have the second worst bullpen already in the league, and it's not like that's an anomaly. They've had the worst bullpen in the league for at least 2 or 3 years in a row now. So it's nothing new. And honestly, if you wanted to just take the team total, I wouldn't mind that either. I think it's over at 5.5 now, though, which is a little bit ridiculous. But you know what? I cashed over twice yesterday, 2 over. What other games are you looking at, man?
Yeah, I have one more pick, and then I have one more person I want to point out for their debut. But my other pick, I think I sent it to chat. I have like just probably 2 out props today that I don't want to go, I guess, too wild with them because there's some non-aces and stuff, and some I may just look at to see how they're doing. But Max Meyer under 15.5 outs. Max Meyer, he's done well, but he's faced he has a brief amount of facing of these like Braves hitters. I think the only hitters that have actually faced him in this lineup is Acuna, Albies, Baldwin, Harris, Olson, and Riley, but they all have less than 10 at bats. But the thing about Max Meyer, he has of course a nasty slider, and he is a high strikeout kind of guy. He relies on strikeouts, but the problem is he is facing a very patient Braves team. This Braves team is one of the hottest like teams hitting. Their issue is if they go down early, it's hard for them to come back. Yesterday the game was like 10-4, but they did only let Yuri go like 4.2 innings. But Max's biggest issue, like I said, is walks. He already has, looking at the stats, he already has 8 walks and 14.2 innings, but 15 strikeouts. So 8 walks and 14.2 innings, guys. That is no bueno. It's not absolutely terrible, but it's not something you want to see from what you consider that could be one of your best pitchers. Max Meyer has not reported out in the 6th inning yet this year, and the Braves are also one of the best teams in the league at not letting pitchers reach the 6th inning because they like to work pitchers. They'll hit pitchers out of the game. They're just overly all a well-rounded offense. The biggest issue for the Braves is trying to find consistency for their pitching outside of basically Chris Sale and Grant Holmes, who got Rogers. I was surprised, but outside of Chris Sale, luckily, eventually Spencer Schwellenbach will come back. Spencer Strider will come back. But Ronaldo Lopez is actually going to be pitching today. Yeah, he's pulling a suspension like Soler, so Ronaldo Lopez, we could see him do well, but I do like Meyer under 15.5 outs. I think this is a favorable line that, especially for a pitcher, we haven't seen gone far at all this year, and they expected him to.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I do tend to agree that the Braves are due to break out. I think a lot of people expected them to just beat the snot out of Miami yesterday. Didn't happen. Usually those regression days happen the day after when you're not expecting it. And yeah, the thing about Max Meyer is he's giving up too much contact, and he has an 11.5% barrel rate, and all of his expected stats are through the roof. He has a 276 expected batting average, 460 expected slugging percentage. If he's not able to get swing and misses from the Braves crew, this could be a really long day for him, or I guess I should say a really short day for him. I like that a lot.
Exactly. And his something I will say, he does have one of the nastiest sliders in the MLB, but something the Braves are good at is they are really good at laying off those kind of breaking pitches. Like Matt Olson, for example, is one of the best batters at taking pitches too. We've seen Ozzie Albies do a little better with that. Acuna's getting in his zone, making more contact. Austin Riley, of course, is working on that. Of course, Drake Baldwin's been on fire. Michael Harris has done better. So like they honestly are stacked across their lineup, and I've been impressed, of course, with Mauricio Dubon as well. The thing about Max Meyer as well is oh no, the thing about the Braves as well is on Sunday they absolutely shellacked a really good pitcher in Tanner Bybee. And I was very impressed with that. So I believe Tanner Bybee's line was at like 70 and a half. And the Guardians were trying to get him to at least pitch 5 innings, but they couldn't. So we need to see that kind of Braves because the next game we saw they only scored 4 runs. Hey, 4 runs doesn't look as good when another team scores 10 runs, but they still scored 4 runs, So yeah.
If you're able to get to 3 runs per game, you're going to win the majority of your games. That's just how it works out.
Yes.
The simple truth for the Braves is that I don't know what to think of them. 2 years ago, they were one of the most dominant teams in the MLB, especially
yeah.
in the early, first inning, first 5 innings. They were a darling. They would
They were the
basically be
Dodgers.
guaranteed to score 3 or 4 runs in the first 5 innings, like every single game. But you know what? When you have people on PED suspension and you have injuries and just it's hard to keep it together and consistent. But any team that has Ronald Acuna on that is I'm not going to count them out. I do think that they get it done today, but nothing that I wanted to kind of further bet on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would definitely agree with that. And the last thing I'll say before I go to the debut I want to mention uh is that I will say their top I would say their 1 through 5 is one of the scariest batting orders, like even 1 through 6 that we'll see with of course Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Baldwin, and Albies, and then I think and Riley. So yeah, like they're always in it as long as they stay healthy. The problem was Albies wasn't staying healthy, Acuna wasn't staying healthy. Of course, Matt Olson was he's Iron Man, but Riley was in and out. So if they can keep those guys, they'll be great offensively. And they get Spencer Schwellenbach back, Spencer Strider back. They can kind of fix Grant Holmes a little bit, who was really good last year, and then have Ronaldo Lopez, gain his confidence back. They'll be good. But the last thing I'll talk about is I want to point out because I know we're almost reaching the top of the hour. Is we have a debut, Noah Schultz. He is an electric 22-year-old. Last year, he had a decent ERA in AAA. He was getting hit a lot, but this year, just through 2 starts, he fixed a lot of stuff. He kind of pitches. It's kind of funny, like Chris Sale, but he has an up to a 99 fastball. His control has been great. He has like a 1.29 ERA through a few starts in AAA, and I'm looking forward to him pitching against a red-hot Rays team. And I'm just going to watch him. I didn't want to touch his outs, but I'm looking forward to this electric starter. I'm glad the White Sox are doing it. This is something they need to do to see what they got. It kind of reminds me when they debuted Garrett Crochet as a starter. So I'm very interested to see when the White Sox eventually trade him. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Because they did that to all the starters. They did it with Chris Sale. They did it with Carlos Rendon. They did it.
Yeah. That's why I said you're not joking. It's probably a reality at some point. Let's bring it back to Prince of Picks, though. I think he has a pick for baseball slate, right? Prince, you got a pick for us?
Yes, sir, I do. So as we mentioned before.
Headed?
Yeah. So as we mentioned before, to the listeners out there, we've mentioned before that we don't share our picks before we go live here, mostly because we want some authenticity in our reactions and stuff. And so of course today I didn't share any of my picks. However, out of this 15 game slate, I too am also on the Nationals and Pirates game, and I as well have the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over 3.5 as a parlay piece. The boys mentioned it already earlier. Miles Mikolas is probably miles away from being a legitimate, consistent pitcher in the majors. So he's been off to a horrible start this season. He's got a 12.41 ERA. He's 0-3 in his starts, and he's just given up a ton of hits, 16 hits, over 16 hits per game. And then we're looking at the Pirates. Drew, the Pirates have been on fire offensively. They're 7th in batting average, 7th in runs scored, 7th in hits. And to Moshe's point here, the bullpen for the Nationals, I have it written down here, 29th in ERA, giving up over 6 runs per game are the Nationals. So not only is McCollus not a very good pitcher, but their bullpen also seems to struggle as well. So I think getting the Pirates here over 3.5. I'm with the boys on this one. I think that's an absolutely solid parlay piece. That is my parlay piece. And I'm going to take that, and I'm also going to parlay that with the New York Yankees. The Yankees. taking on the LA Angels. Again, I think this is a good spot for the Yankees here at home. Me and Drew mentioned it last week on one of our shows. Yankees, one of the top 5 ballparks that we consider for hitting home runs. So I think the Yankees here, obviously one of the better batting teams, hitting teams in the majors. But specifically, I think this is more of a fade on the Angels pitching staff, currently coming 23rd in ERA, allowing over 4 runs per game. So you got a pitching staff that's allowing over 4 runs. You get a Yankees team that is scoring over 4 runs. Give me over 3.5 here for the Yankees at home, parlayed with the Pirates over 3.5. And that parlay comes in at plus 103. Baseball expert, Stern, Drew, I'm going to go to you first, Stern. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Love it.
don't mind it. I'm a little bit. I guess I'm more comfortable with taking the Yankees team total over based on the over usage of the Angels bullpen as of late. Reed Detmers, well, he had a really good start to the season. He went up against Houston, Seattle, did fine, 3 runs, 0 runs. He's coming off a 5-run earned run outing in just 4.1 innings against Atlanta. And I don't think it's going to get easier for him here. His underlying metrics are actually really not bad. He has a lot of pieces that I like to see. It's really going to depend on if the Yankees are biting on his stuff. If they're biting on that slider, could be a really long day for the Yankees. Dietmers could get a lot of strikeouts, but if he isn't able to locate that slider correctly to set up the rest of his pitches, this could be a really short day for him. I think the Yankees are going to have success sooner or later today, and you're getting the weather again. I think this is a great option. And of course, you're taking the probably the most powerful or top 2 or 3 most powerful teams in the entire baseball league. So yeah, give me the Yankees. I'm going to tail this because I want something on the game.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess the message to the Yankees will be the same the message that my sister says to my 2-year-old niece: stop biting.
Drew,
I'll end it with that.
Drew, how do you feel about this Angels Yankees game? Because I don't have
Oh,
anything else in this game. So if you have any analysis, I'd love to hear it as well.
yeah. This is going to be a very interesting game, especially after yeah, especially after I would say the cinema performance we've seen. We'll see. Usually, I know it's just a regular season game. We'll say 1 out of 162, but usually those kind of games can take a lot out of you, like mentally and physically. So we'll see how the batters, come to play today in regards to that game. I believe the game also, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is around the same time as like the yesterday's game was. So it's going to be very interesting. I would prefer to live bet it to see how the bats come out. Reed Detmers has been very surprisingly good coming out of the bullpen. I've been impressed. He's had some. He's a weird pitcher. He has some deceptive stuff. Ryan Weathers, you don't know what Ryan Weathers is going to get. I think last game we saw him pitch like 7 or 8 innings. Before that, he did get like that game was amazing. I think Ryan Weathers was pitching against Jeffrey Springs, who had like a no hitter for a while, and you don't realize like, wait, Ryan Weathers just pitched 7 innings. So I'd rather live bet to see what Ryan Weathers we get, what Reed Detmers we get, how the batters react, especially to a game that was yesterday, and to see if the batters are fully there. I'm not accusing someone not trying or any of that, but to see like, hey, where their emotions are at.
It is hard to keep going day in and day out,
Yeah.
and when you play 3 or 4 games in a row, that is, or three out of 4 games, 3 out of 4 days in a row, that is it's tough. It's hard to keep that mentally up, and I don't know. I think though that Angels Yankees have a special kind of intensity, especially after yesterday's game, where I think that they'll be able to keep focus. But I do agree that if we see no runs early, this might be a really good one to bet live overs. And then the opposite, if we see a lot of runs early, nope, still like runs.
Oh, I'll be right back, guys. I have to take this call real quick. So.
No problem at all. All right, Prince, do you have anything else for us other than the team total parlay, which I absolutely love? I think that's a really sharp look.
No, nothing else in terms of individual plays or parlays. I mean, we do have our home run sprinkles. I don't know if you want to get into that or if
Not
you
yet,
want to
not
get
yet.
not the okay. All right, cool.
I
Yep.
got 2 plays to get into. I'm very excited to get into it. Just love this one play here coming up. Royals Tigers first 3 innings under 2.5 at -130 juice over on Caesars. This is featuring two aces who are coming off not so good starts. Cole Reagans is coming back from a not so great start against the Tigers. Against the Cleveland. And last time he faced the Tigers, he did not do well last year, which was an anomaly for him. He
Well,
usually does pretty well.
I'm back by the way. He got hurt against the Guardians.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But so hopefully he's back. Everything that tells me that he's back. And I know that we're facing Detroit in Detroit, but Cole Reagans, the first time through the order, has historically been absolutely phenomenal. Last year, the first time through the order, he held opponents to a 204 average. And then the year before that, it was 181. So I very much expect him to have a nice bounce back. He is one of the higher caliber arms in the league. He has a 33.7% whiff rate, 32.6% strikeout rate. It's going to be able to help work himself out of trouble. The Tigers are due to regress on the strikeout front. Last year, they were among the worst in the league. This year, they're doing quite all right, but I don't know how long that's going to be able to continue for. And just like other aces that we've seen, they may have struggled with their walk rate. It's at 13% right now. But I think he positively regresses as the weather gets warmer and he has more of a feel for his pitches. On the other side, Framber Valdez is looking to bounce back from giving up 8 earned runs against Minnesota. But again, apparently that's just Minnesota's offense. We talked about it earlier today against Crochet. Valdez isn't getting the whiff or strikeout rates that we are accustomed to, but he is inducing incredibly weak contact at 1.7% barrel rate to 36.5% hard hit rate. I think he's going to do just fine against the Royals club that's only averaging less than a run in the first 4 innings on the road. They're averaging 0.83 runs per game in the first 4 innings. So I don't think that Framber Valdez is going to have that much of an issue against the Royals club on the road. In saying that, I think just from the numbers, I think there's actually some upset value on Kansas City here. Only on the first 3 or first 5. I'm not interested in getting into the bullpen in either of these teams, but backing them on the road is never fun. So I think I'm just going to take the first 3 under 2.5. This is my only full unit play of the day. I absolutely love it. How do you guys feel about this game here?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you mentioned that. There was a couple things I totally forgot about it. Yeah, Reagan's is very interesting because outs are at 15.5. Usually I like taking his kind of over. But he had what happened was with the Guardians, I was watching it live. Because remember, I did the Reagan's over 16.5, and I was mentioning how he got hurt. He struck out the first 2 batters, and Jose Ramirez changed the game in a different way. He literally hit the ball straight to his thumb, and then they let him in, and then his miles per hour, like they should have just not let him pitch at all. His miles per hour dropped by like 5, and he has a thumb contusion. And thumb contusions, I know this because I've had one before. They take usually 2 to 4 weeks to heal. He said he's fine. So what's going to happen is it's healed to the point where he can throw, but it's going to feel very stiff and weird. So I will see how long he lasts. He'll be effective, but can see him pitching 4 to 5 innings. The thing about the Royals, though, their starting pitching, make an argument. People aren't talking about them. They've probably been the best starting pitching in the league so far. They have consistently starters go like 7, 8 innings all the time. But like you said, the Royals' offense is terrible. I saw a thing where Bobby Witt has reached base 30 times this year. He has not scored a run in 29 of those 30 times he reached base. So that is very atrocious. It's showing the third and fourth hitter are not bringing him in. He's only scored once when he's reached base, not counting like home runs. So the Royals, I would say, is a good letdown for them not to win. They've been winning games from their starting pitching, but I don't know how long Reagan's will last. I think he'll be effective, but he'll probably only go, in my opinion, 4 or 5 innings.
Hey, only need him to get through 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying exactly. So that's why I was skeptical about that 15.5 they showed, because I know thumb contusions and he probably won't be able to last unless like probably will last like 4 innings, I would say.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, I have one more play for the day. It's another half unit play. All right, so my first play, Pirates team total over 3.5, and money line, that was a half a unit. My Royals Tigers play, that is a full unit. This next one, half a unit. Mets Dodgers, no run first inning. I know this is risky, but we got Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound. He's one of my favorite pitchers to bet on. I don't think that the Mets, who are struggling even on the road, where they typically do better in the first inning, I don't think they're going to be able to hit him. Just simple as that. And then the other side, I really like this young Nolan McLean. He has a 5.4% barrel rate, 24.3% hard hit rate. He has really incredible underlying metrics. He's going to have to keep his walk rate down, which is sitting at 9.5%. But I think that he has the stuff to be able to pitch around Shohei and some of the other heavier bats in this Dodgers lineup. And when you're looking at it, how many days in a row can the Dodgers really score in the first inning? Now, the answer to that is, well, only a half a unit, because I'm not exactly thrilled to go bet against the Dodgers anytime, especially at home. But I think that this is a really nice spot for a really young ace. I did play around with the first 3 under, but it was juiced to the under, and I didn't really feel like the juice justified it. I think that the minus 120 on the no run first inning, I think that's justifiable. I wouldn't pay more than minus 125 though. This is really just a really sharp line, but I do think the value's on the under. Drew, how do you feel about this one?
No, I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of Nolan McLean. I think he'll do really well. He has nasty movement on his stuff. Usually, when he struggles, it's later on in the game, so I like that a lot. Yeah, usually his weakest spots are like I would say probably the 5th and 6th innings. So I like that.
Yeah, and if you're looking on ESPN, if you're wondering where all this information comes from, obviously I have my own model where I aggregate all the data that I'm looking to get out to the public. But if you just go on ESPN, you go to the pitcher and you go to the splits, you can look through all this data yourself to help verify the information. And then what I do is I go on to a site like Fangraphs, Team Rankings, or Baseball Savant, and then I verify the offensive numbers and defensive numbers, I guess, in the pitching to kind of verify my picks. But if you're just wondering the basis of how I make my picks, that's kind of how it works. All
Yeah,
right,
it's nice.
before
You
we
can go
move,
by inning for the pitcher too. How many runs they've given up in the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. Yeah.
yeah, it's really incredible. You have some incredibly detailed statistics out there, and honestly, they're just getting better and better. I just saw a new statistic that they're creating for, like you know how they have quality pitching, how many quality starts that a pitcher has. Now that they're starting to get into quality at bats, which I'm very curious to see how that translates to almost everything that we do, MVP races and drafting and fantasy. And I mean, there's a whole slew of really cool things that you can do with those metrics. Anyway, that's just a fanboy in me, and I'm very excited to see it. Before we move into Champions League, where I'm sure Prince of Picks has some picks for us, is there anything else that we want to get to, not including the home run props of the day? Any game that you want to discuss, Drew or Prince? I know we have some good ones here. I know that I have specific leans in certain games, like the Rockies Astros. I think that game can go well over. But anything that you guys want to talk about before we move on?
No,
Nothing.
all I have is home runs. That's
Yeah,
it.
same here.
Oh, how could you guys? All right. I guess let's get into the home runs. Prince, who do you got today?
Yeah, so for me, we're gonna go with the veteran here for the Pirates, Marcel Ozuna. I'm gonna take him at plus 570. Any chance I get to take or sorry, fade, I should say, the one of the worst bullpens in the majors. I'm gonna do that. So I'll take Marcel Ozuna here against a struggling Nationals pitching staff, plus 570 to get a home run.
I think that's a really solid look. Also going to be going into that same game. I would say if anybody is due for a bounce back, it's Azuna, and the level of talent that he has should come through sooner or later. I guess because I'm in the same game, yeah, we're gonna be fading Miles Mikolas, like right? Oh no, sorry, am I getting the wrong name here? Nope, we are in the right game. O'Neal Cruz is who I'm going to go with. I know that this is slightly below the plus 400 number that I really want to get, but I talked about it at the beginning of the show. He is one of the hottest batters in all of baseball. His barrel rate, now, just to give you reference, a good barrel rate starts at about 9. All right. Anything over 10, great. 12, fantastic. His barrel rate's at 21.4%. I mean, are you kidding me? He has more than double a good barrel rate, and his hard hit rate is just under 60%. Everything, everything except for his strikeouts, I guess, is screaming, I am one of the best hitters in baseball right now. And I'm inclined to believe him. plus 330. I'm going to take that bet. I love him to get a home run today. You have 14 miles per hour wind blowing out. I don't see a problem for him facing Nationals bullpen, right? Don't have a problem with him facing Miles Mikolas. I just love this play. And yeah, Mikolas solidly below average. We talked about it before. If you want to sprinkle also on his hits, runs, and RBIs prop or total bases, I think that's also really attractive. The only pitch that I'm worried about for Mikolas is really his curveball, but if he can lay off the curveball, I think that he's going to be able to smash one here at home. Yeah, this is just couldn't ignore it. Anyway, Drew, who do you got today?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the Giants Reds game. There might be a delay because it's supposed to rain around when the game starts, but it's supposed to end like an hour later. But it's going to be like in the 70s and humid when it's that the ball travels. And like I said, I think there's going to be a delay. There's like a 70% chance of rain, but it's supposed to stop around 8 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't think they'll postpone the game. But of course, if they don't, I like Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman versus Brady Singer for his career. He's 7 for 10 with two home runs, and they're playing at, like we talked about, a top 5 home run park, Great American Ballpark, and it's going to be humid. And it's going to be relatively hotter, especially for this time. It's like 70 something degrees. So I like Matt Chapman to get a home run. He's been one of the hottest Giants hitters, only has 1 home run this year. And Brady Singer can give up hard contact, especially in that ballpark as well.
Got to find that mute button. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think Chapman is a good look. Yeah, you're taking a look at maybe one of your favorite players, which I'm sad about because I don't get to pick Yankees players every single day, but I think he's really a solid look. He is hitting up. He's not striking out. He's getting on base. I think that the contact's there. He's starting to make it move, and sooner or later he's going to bring that power around. So yeah, definitely a good play. Going to sprinkle 0.1 units in all these home runs props.
Oh, it's plus
See where we go.
460. I saw it may be a little higher elsewhere.
Nice. I'll take a look and I'll post the highest number that I see on the recap screen. All righty. That's going to do it for baseball. Champions League is next. Prince of Picks, I'm going to bring you in. We have 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. This is the second leg. What do we got? What can we expect? And what time are these games going off?
Yeah, so we're looking at 2 games, simultaneous here kickoffs at 3 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. We'll touch on the first game here that I picked. We're going to look at the one between Atletico Madrid taking on Barcelona. Of course, Atletico have a 2-0 aggregate lead coming off of the first leg. This one is going to be at Madrid for this one, but I like Barcelona in this one. I'm going to take Barcelona here on the money line, minus 125. I actually have 2 plays for this one, so I'm going to split it up here. I'm going to take a unit and split it up across these 2 plays, and I'll expand on it here in a bit. But I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit on Barcelona money line. Then I'm going to put 1/4 of a unit on Barcelona to advance at plus 260. Let's look at the details here. Barcelona, they come in better form in this one. They've won 9 of their last 11. Meanwhile, Atletico, they've lost 4 of their last 5. So they do come into this one in a little bit more poor form. That one win was against Barcelona last week, but other than that, they lost their other 4 matches. So not to mention, I think Barcelona is just a better team top to bottom than Atletico Madrid. And we're looking at Barca really in that first leg, they outplayed Atletico Madrid in almost every category that is tracked. They dominated in possession, the 58% to 42% possession advantage. They dominated them in total shots. They dominated them in shots on target. They dominated them in touches in the opponent's box. They dominated them in the XG. They had over a 1-goal XG. Meanwhile, Atletico had just a 0.44 XG. So those 2 goals that they scored were highly unexpected. They really came against the grain. So I think every statistical, advantage here is with Barcelona. I think they were just unfortunate not to get a goal in their last match. But I do think with a Barca side here that is going to be chasing a 2-0 deficit, that attack is going to be on full effect here. And the question is Atletico going to be able to withstand Barcelona's relentless attack? My guess is no. I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're solid enough defensively. I don't think they're going to be able to hold up for very long. And I do think Barcelona's offensive talent, and you're talking about probably one of the top 5 attacking teams in all of club football in Barcelona. I think they're going to be able to break through this Atletico Madrid's defense. Now, we mentioned it before. Atletico Madrid, one of the Jekyll and Hyde teams in all of Europe, specifically on the defensive side. They are very capable of conceding multiple goals at any point. So, again, Atletico is going to try to sit in. They're going to try to preserve their 2-0 lead, but I just don't believe that they're going to be able to bunker down here for the long haul against this Barcelona onslaught. So I do expect Barcelona to get some goals in this one. And look, we're talking about a 2-0 deficit. That is a very, very manageable deficit to come back from, especially against a side in Atletico Madrid that is likely to concede goals. So getting Barcelona to advance at plus 260, I think that's an outstanding value considering Barcelona's offensive prowess and Atletico Madrid's defensive woes, I would say. So I love that play a lot. We're going to put a quarter unit on that. So again, guys, Barcelona money line minus 125, putting 3/4 of a unit on that, and then just a quarter unit here on Barcelona to advance. Which basically means, if those of you who are new to soccer betting, you're not sure what that means. Basically means if this game goes into extra time, right? Maybe Barcelona or the aggregate score rather is tied after the end of this match. We go to extra time, we go to shootout. If Barcelona wins at that point, then we win the wager here. Or if they just win on the aggregate score outright before extra time. So we have a couple ways to win that bet. But in any case, I think Barcelona is the side in this one, and I do expect a big performance from the better team. Stern, what do you got for me on that one? Anything?
Yeah, I took Barcelona's money line at minus 120 over an MGM for a full unit. I am in lockstep with you. I think that they're very live to win this outright. 3-1, 3-0. I don't know. I think that their offense is going to come alive. This is do or die. This is the spot that they need to push. I know that they're not at home, right? But I think they get it done. I really do. I'm going to sprinkle on them to qualify as per your play, but my official play is just them to win on the money line. Somehow, some way, I think they're going to get it done. And again, there's no reason for Atletico Madrid, like you said, to push if they're losing by 1. There's just no reason for them to push. Just park the bus, try to make it through to the next round, and call it a day. I really do love this play, and I'm in lockstep with you 100%.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, they're going to try their best to hunker down, even if it's just 1-0. They're going to try to, still preserve. They'll still have a lead, right? So they're going to do their best, but I just don't think they're going to be able to, honestly. I just don't think they're good enough defensive side. So great. I'm glad to see we're in agreement on that. Then let's move on to the next game where we're looking at Liverpool. This one in Anfield, of course, taking on PSG. PSG do come to this one with a 2-0 lead on the aggregate. And I think PSG is the better side here. I'm going to take PSG on a draw no bet plus 105. Anytime I can get the better team with push insurance at plus money, I will take it. I think PSG is significantly better than Liverpool. I don't buy into this Liverpool team. They're a shell of their former selves. They're not the same team that they were last year. And I think they will get exposed again, especially chasing a 2-0 deficit against a PSG side that is absolutely lethal in the counterattack. Liverpool is going to be forced to play in the front foot. They're going to be forced to play an attacking style, and that's just going to spell doom and gloom for that defensive backline for Liverpool. Those wingers on PSG are going to get into the attack, and they are going to create plenty of chances to score on the counterattack. Again, PSG, elite counterattacking team with loads of talent offensively. So I think PSG might put up a couple more goals again tonight against Liverpool. But again, for me, on the cautious side here, I'm going to take PSG on a draw no bet. We're still getting plus money here at plus 105.
I like it. No official play for me on this game. I just like the Barcelona pick so much that I didn't want to ruin it with anything else, but I do tend to agree with you. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching these games. I didn't get to watch last week in the first leg, so I'm home today. I got the screens up and I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't see PSG losing this one to Liverpool. I don't see that happening. So I think getting plus money on that is a really good value. Drew, what do you got, man?
Oh, I was saying sorry to interrupt, but I probably do have to get rolling. But I always want to make sure I listen to some of your soccer plays. But if you wanted me to give my best bets real quick before I head out, I can.
Yes, but I also want you to possibly, if you have time, feel free to say
Yeah.
no. Hockey season just ended. I just wanted you to maybe touch upon that
Yeah.
a little bit, and then you can get on with your best bets. And then I guess we could really wrap it up. I think we've gone long enough. And
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt
yeah, no problem. I think we were kind of
Champions
slowly
League.
coming to the end of that one, and it was a good time. All right, go for it, brother.
Oh yeah, you said for hockey if you wanted. Yeah, I can talk about that if you want. You wanted me to talk about who I think's going to possibly like win it and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we got playoff hockey. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Playoffs. Talking about playoffs. I just hope I can win a game. I love that quote. I don't know if you guys remember that the
Yes,
NFL.
Jim Mora. Yes, all-time
Yeah,
great
Jim
quote.
Mora.
Yes,
That's who
yes,
it
yes.
is.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
I just hope we can win a game. But perfect. Yeah, I'm very looking forward to the playoffs. Of course, I would say, of course, the favorites, as we all know, probably that we expect to be the favorites, in my personal opinion, are like the Avalanche. I think everybody expects that someone from the Western region is going to win. I think the Western region is a little more stacked, especially with the Avalanche, the Stars, the Knights. And I mean, I was actually impressed, in my personal opinion, with the Oilers, how they ended up, sneaking in and stuff. So, in the Eastern Conference, we of course, have the Sabres, the Lightning, the Canes, and the Penguins had an overachieving season. But I would say, when it comes to the upcoming playoffs, I expect the Avalanche to personally win it all. And I'm looking forward to like the playoff series. I think this is the Avalanche year. I know Panthers had a very disappointing season, personally. So I don't even think the Panthers made the playoffs. Did they? No, no, they didn't. No,
Nope.
yeah, they're not even close. Yeah, so we won't have three straight winners. So, yeah, I would say my major take is that I would have to look more into the games, but my major take is I think Avalanche win it all.
I mean, that's pretty solid. I think they're also taking the majority of the sharp money there when I'm looking at it. Although I guess I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to really look into it tonight to see if there's any edges that I like. I haven't really gotten too much into it. I've been so focused on baseball and everything else going on. But yeah, thank you so much for recapping that. Give us your best bets and we can kind of recap this and get on out of here.
Yeah, for sure. My best bets are Max Meyer under 15.5 outs at minus 120. I would recommend Trevor Rogers over 17.5 at minus 170. If you can get a pair with Mikolas at under 15.5, that's good value. If it's under 14.5, I wouldn't take it, even though I don't think he does it, but that's plus money, and 14.5 is always scary. Or just take Trevor Rogers with the juice, and then sprinkle Matt Chapman home run at plus 460.
Love it, man. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm gonna go next, I guess, and then Prince, you can kind of close us
So
out.
real quick, before we close it out, guys, we do have the NBA play-in tonight, and I think we'd be doing a disservice to our listeners to not give any kind of plays for that. It's a pretty big event going on tonight, so let me go ahead and touch on that real quick. I know we're running up against the clock.
No. Take your time,
we
please, and
we
thank
we
you.
we
This is
we
important.
we did spend a lot of time on baseball, probably a little bit too much, guys. So sometimes it happens. I do have a hockey play as well, but I'll just post that over on my X profile. So if you guys want that, you're gonna have to go over to
No.
X.
Give us the hockey play. Give us the
Yeah.
hockey play. I'm not
Okay.
hurrying you up. Give us the hockey
Okay.
play.
And I want to make sure we're on time here, but all right. So let me go ahead and rip through it then, guys, real quick. So for the hockey NHL tonight, by the way, we're not quite in the playoffs here. We do have a few games left or a few days left of the regular season. So the regular season is in action tonight. We have a 9-game slate, and I landed on a 3-pick parlay here. I'm not going to expand on it too much, but I'll just run through it quickly. I like the Kings plus 1.5. Taking on the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks suck, and they've lost 4 of their last 6. They're a really bad team, so I think the Kings here getting 1.5 goals. Pretty good value on a parlay piece. I'm going to parlay that with the Avalanche plus 1.5 against the Calgary Flames. Avalanche, of course, the top scoring team in the league. Calgary, 24th in goals allowed. So a pretty bad defensive team in Calgary. I think Avalanche getting a goal and a half for them. And I'm going to parlay that with the Boston Bruins plus 1.5, taking on the New Jersey Devils. The Bruins are the number 1 team ATS in National Hockey League. So I'm going to outline all 3 of these, though, getting a plus 1.5 goals with the Kings, Avalanche, and Bruins. And that parlay is going to pay a plus 104. For the sake of time preservation, Stern, I'm just going to roll
No,
through.
we're good. I actually have a point on this one.
Okay.
I might just go with the money line parlay, taking out the Bruins side of that. I do think that the Bruins keep it close, but they've been shaky to me. I feel like if they go down, sometimes they try too much and then they go down a lot. But I love this look. I really do, and I'm excited to watch this game. I think that the Kings are definitely should be the favored ones in that matchup, and then of course the Avalanche are the Avalanche. So yeah, I do wholeheartedly agree, and this is gonna be a fun one
Awesome.
to get down to the wire.
Great. Love it. All right. And then let's just go ahead and move over to the NBA, of course. The play-in is taking place tonight, where we do have one single elimination game, and the other one is going to be a double elimination. Basically, the loser of the Suns and Blazers will have a second crack at it against the winner of the 9 and 10. But let's go ahead and rip through it here. We got the Hornets. I'm going to take that one first, taking on the Miami Heat. The Hornets, the 9 seed at home, taking on the Miami Heat, coming in as the 10th seed. I'm going to alt line this one here, and we're going to do a 2-pick parlay. I like the Charlotte Hornets plus 2.5 on an alt spread. I do think the Hornets probably win this one outright. They've been in more playoff form, I would say, recently, as they've really had to compete on a playoff level for their seeding. There's been a logjam between the 6 and 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. So you had 4 teams basically fighting with each other to get into the playoffs proper. Unfortunately, the Hornets weren't able to do it. They landed at a 9 seed, which, by the way, I think the Hornets might be one of the best 9 seeds that we've had since the play-on tournament has been introduced. So I'm really big on the Hornets. It would be an absolute shame for them to get eliminated in one game against the Miami Heat, given the season that they had. I don't think it happens. I think they win this one on the money line, really. But for the sake of this parlay here, play a little bit more conservative. I'll take the Hornets plus 2.5. And I'm going to parlay that with the other game here, the Suns and Blazers. Give me the Suns plus 2.5. That parlay comes in at minus 102. When we're looking at the Suns and Blazers, I think the Suns are significantly better than Portland. I think Portland's rather lucky to be the 8th seed, to be honest with you. I think they've punched above their weight. I don't think they're quite as good as their seeding would suggest. We're looking at Portland. They have the most turnovers per game. So they're very loose with the ball. And that is something that the Suns feast on. The Suns are the 3rd ranked defense in forced turnovers. So you have a team that turns over the ball more than anyone else against a team that forces turnovers at the 3rd highest rate. So I think Phoenix is going to create a lot of transition opportunities for the Suns out in the open court. And they're fully healthy. I expect Jalen Green, Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks. I expect a big game on the board from Mark Williams. Portland, one of the lower field goal shooting percentage teams in the league. They miss a lot of shots. They shoot a lot of bricks. They shoot a lot of bad shots, to be honest with you. So I think Mark Williams on the boards could be in for a big night if you're looking at any player props. If you want to take both teams on a money line, I actually did do that as an alternative play. But for the purposes of the show play, I want to play a little bit more conservative. We'll take the Hornets plus 2.5, Suns plus 2.5. That parlay comes into near plus money. It's minus 102. Before we close it out, sir, any thoughts on that?
I really like the Hornets play. Not such a fan. I think that there's value. I think that the Suns probably win.
I think the Suns win by double digits. But go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just think from looking at the money and the sharp money and where the line is moving, I think there actually is a little bit of value on the underdog. Not anything that I wanted to play by any means, because Phoenix just is destroying teams right now. They're really in good form. It's amazing how far they've come once all their players kind of came back from injury. But the other game there, I really do like the underdog. Hornets are something that I was considering playing just straight up on the money line.
Yeah, and you could. I think the money line is sitting around like minus 160, minus 165. So depending on your juice tolerance, that's definitely a playable line for me, for sure.
I will say asterisk, I do have a few boosts to use. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what was going on.
Well,
not an official play, but that's kind of how I wanted to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Those boosts always help. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. So go if you want to go ahead and then recap, and then I'll get us out of here.
Yeah, I have to go find all my plays because I wrote them all over the place. But the Royals Tigers first 3 under 2.5 minus 130. That's my full unit play of the day. Mets Dodgers half a unit no run first inning minus 120. My home run sprinkle O'Neal Cruz plus 330. Very excited to get that one. Also, same game Pirates team total over 3.5 plus the money line minus 125. And then Barcelona money line at minus 120. Kick us off, brother. And yeah, I'm excited to get through the shows. Excited to get to tomorrow as well. With those big Champions League games coming on, looming over as well. So yeah, excited to get into it. This is a great week in sports. I know we've said that a lot lately, but it truly is.
Well, it's just a great time. We got, like I said, we've got all the sports converging here at the same time. So it really is a great time. And we could say that every week and it'd be true because it really is a great time to be a sports investor and a sports fan. So for me, though, guys, to recap my plays in the Champions League, I like Barcelona on the money line for 3/4 of a unit. Then we're going to take Barcelona to advance. We're going to throw a quarter unit on that. And then also in the other one here, give me PSG, draw no bet. That one comes in at plus 105. In the NBA, I will take a plus 2.5 parlay here. Hornets plus 2.5, Suns plus 2.5. That parlay comes in at around minus 102. In the NHL here on the ice, I like the Kings, Avalanche, and Bruins. All of them at plus 1.5. Sorry. That parlay comes in at plus 104. Then finally for me in the major leagues, give me the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over 3.5, parlayed with the New York Yankees team total over 3.5. That comes in at plus 103. And then for my home run sprinkle, Marcell Ozuna of the Pittsburgh Pirates plus 570. This has been the OnlyBets Sports Betting Podcast show. We appreciate you guys tuning in as always for SternBets, DrewDelucchi, and everyone else. We will talk to you guys soon, and we appreciate you. Thank you.